Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. So I want to say thank you so much for listening, watching, viewing, and hearing everything that is going on lately as far as with content. I will be making more things as far as to put on Patreon and Spotify that will be exclusive. But as opposed to everything free, we are going to continue on talking about different topics. And again, I thank you guys so much. So this particular album that we are going to talk about, it's not just any old album. We are going into rap again, guys, and we are going to talk about Lil Kim, her hardcore album. Yes, we are. So let's get into it. Hardcore is the debut studio album by American rapper Lil Kim, released on November 12th, 1996 by Underseas Recordings, Big Beat Recordings, and Atlantic Records. After achieving success with the hip-hop group Junior Mafia and their album Conspiracy 1995, Kim began working on her solo album with the Notorious B.I.G., serving as the executive producer. Besides this, he performed on 4 songs. She collaborated with a number of producers such as Sean Puffy Daddy Combs, Stevie J, David Sky Willis, Ski Willis, and Jermaine Dupri, among others. Other rappers, including Jay-Z, Lil C's, and Puff Daddy, were featured on the album. Recorded from 1995 to 1996. It's about an hour long. The album was notable for its overt raunchy sexual tone and Kim's lyrical delivery, which was praised by music critics, and is considered a classic album. Hardcore debuted at number 11 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and at number 3 on the Billboard's top R&B albums, selling 78,000 copies in its first week, while reaching number 26, my favorite number, of the Canadian albums chart. The album was certified double platinum by the Recording Academy. So, this is a legendary album. I don't care who your fave is. This is a legendary album. This album is why you see anybody being sexy. You know, you had certain people being sexy that was singing, but as far as rapping, she came out first, being sexy. Even in 95, was being sexy. So, period. Even in 94, emerging. So it's just like, because no one was understanding that she was in an interlude with Biggie, getting knocked in the boots. Yes, and okay, she's been around for 30 plus years. So respect to this woman. She's been doing her thing. I don't care how y'all feel about how she looks now. I don't care if she don't do as much as y'all probably feel like she needs to be doing. This is a queen. This is the queen that we know as far as with rap, compared to Missy and Queen Latifah, among others that are queens. So I don't want no one misconstruing anything that I say and be like, oh, you're pro Kim. I am pro Day, okay? This is Day's podcast. I don't be out here trying to spite nobody. I want people to understand the real. And the real is something has to come from somewhere to be something of something, okay? Don't matter what it is. If you can understand that, you don't got to debate with me. So, after making her debut recording appearance on Junior Mafia's Conspiracy album, Lil Kim appeared on records by artists such as Mona Lisa, the Isley Brothers, and Total. With recording her debut album, Hardcore was mainly recorded at the Hit Factory in Manhattan, New York City, recording with a number of producers. The album featured edgy hardcore rap and explicit sexuality, as the title suggested, which at the time were 2 territories that had long been the province of male rappers. The album was originally titled Queen Bee. So imagine that this was going to be called Queen Bee at first. This album, you know, imagine. And I think hardcore may have probably fit a bit better. Guest artists include Jay-Z, Notorious B.I.G., and other members of Junior Mafia. The promotional campaign for the album, including the album cover, featured provocative advertisements of Kim dressed in a skimpy bikini and surrounded by furs. During the recording sessions, Kim and Big made a demo for the track Street Dreams, never released officially. Big Mama Thang was originally intended to be a diss towards Faith Evans and Tupac, but was re-recorded after Biggie disapproved it. The verse containing remarks against Faith was replaced by Jay-Z's vocals, while the third verse, which had a diss on Tupac, was re-recorded by Kim. So Kim was for it. She's like, listen, if people want to act weird and do different things, let's put them in their place. And that's what it was back in the day. You wanted to get people to understand, like, you that one, like, you here to let people know what the music's about, and you ain't got time for no mess. That's what it was about back in the day. And I think that when it came to beefing, people took beefing into a sense that you got to give me attention so we can continue to. I don't got to give you no type of attention. If you don't like me, you don't like me. I don't got to talk to you. I don't got to keep telling you in records that I don't like you either. I can tell you from afar, talking about a whole different subject, that I don't fuck with you. Because I ain't thinking about you. It's just that simple. And I think that's what she was so great about when it came to her beefs. Like, she just, and still to this day, because I think that, beefing now is kind of like, I don't know. It don't seem, it's kind of hard when people beef now, when you kind of can see, like, you're under a label. Like, I feel like I respect people more when they want to beef with somebody, when they know they are, like, 10 toes down and independent. Like, that, I think that is more of a beef to me. Because it's like, you don't got nobody behind you trying to back you and say, well, as you're beefing with this person, like, no, when you're independent, you call the shots. And Kim is actually independent now. So, I mean, it's just good to kind of see that even with labels, that you can prosper and do different things, and as opposed to independent, because you can prosper independently. Yeah. The singles from Hardcore, The Gold Certified No Time peaked in the top 20 of the Billboard Hot 100, top 10 of the Hot R&B Singles chart, and top the rap charts, making Lil Kim the first female rap artist to have 2 consecutive #1 singles on that chart. Okay? Let's make that all the way clear. No one's ever done that. No one's ever had 2 consecutive #1 singles on the chart for rap as a female back in the day. No one. This is why people say she's the queen of rap in certain ways, and in most cases, because there's certain things that she's done that everyone now is just flourishing and doing just like that. Back in the day, even when you was trying to be sexy, they still was like, all right, well, you know what, let's just because you want to make sure that it's authentic. It's not just somebody trying to have a cash grab. Like, no, like, you really about this. You really, in the streets, and I was really trying to one up on this. Like, she was that girl, and still is, to me. Like, she do a lot. But yes, let's get into the track list. Oh wait, you know what? Yes. Both singles peaked on the top 50 of the UK singles chart. A third single, Not Tonight remix, became a huge top 10 success in 1997, peaking at number 6 on the Hot 100, number 3 on the Hot R&B singles chart, and topping the rap songs chart. Not Tonight remix is pretty much Ladies' Night. This is Ladies' Night. It topped the rap chart with other female rappers jamming and doing their thing. And and honestly, we haven't had a real, like, collaboration where it's like more than 4 people, more than 4 women at a time going off and not even battling with each other, but just kind of just giving each other their lane. Like, we haven't had that in such a long time. With the men, it's not even that way, like that either. Everybody's kind of just free for all now, literally. Like, you can tell when someone's authentically working with you, or someone that is just literally just like, I'll be around you, or we can interact when people see us. But you can tell now more than ever who likes who doesn't. And I think I've said this, and I'm gonna say this in this video too. I don't like when, because I'm a guy, I don't like when men bash women in any field. I'm not going to bash nobody. I'm not going to speak on anything that isn't factual. I feel as though when you're on the Twitter and the Gram and the TikToks and doing all that kinds of stuff and saying you ain't this and you're ugly and when you do all that, it really perpetuates the type of character that you truly have. And I think a lot of times people take it a little too far when it's like you can be a fan or you can love someone for their music or you feel like they're such a great person because you can relate to whatever they did at whatever time, but ultimately all that is just unnecessary. Life is really too short. Like there's better ways to be able to, first of all, buy their stuff. If you love these people so badly, regardless of who it is, in R&B, rock, whoever, buy their stuff, stream them, show receipts that you bought more singles or more albums or whatever the case may be. Don't do all the clicking and typing and all that online if you're not buying and actually supporting your fave. That's all I can say. Because I've bought Kim's albums, I've bought singles, I've actually interacted with Kim before online. Three different times, whether we were talking about Biggie, one of her singles, or just her in general, when it came to 9, because she released 9 back in 2019, and I remember at a time when 9 came out, and literally it just came out, and people were just like, oh, this isn't what I'm used to with her, and I was one of the few that said, and she retweeted me, I was like, quotations, continues to stream 9. Because that's a real that's fan. That's a real fan. Like I'm not gonna just look at everybody talking about, oh, they don't know how they feel. They're not even listening to the album if they're gonna have all this criticism. Listen to the album. Like, no. I'm gonna say publicly that I'm listening to the album because I am. And I like it. If not, I love it. Okay? So I just wanna make that clear before I even get into the track list, because a lot of times we are in just a world where people are just talking and talking and talking, but they're not supporting. And then they wonder why chart placements, even from what I'm reading back in the day, where certain artists were just really trying to break through, it shows. If you're going to have more to talk about and produce propaganda on so much different stuff, comparing whatever, and your fave isn't being supported, it gonna show. And then who can your fave be mad at? Can't be mad at who they don't like, and that's for all genres, like literally all genres. There's artists in all genres that don't always favor other people. Like it's not just rap, and I just want to make that clear too, because you'd be surprised who in the countryside, like in the country genre, who don't like who. You'd be surprised. They all come together at the ceremony, but that's only for the ceremony. Same thing with R&B. Because everybody can pop up at the BET Awards, but let somebody do something funny, somebody is retweeting, liking, having their own opinion on their own podcast and stuff like that. People get catty. So I just don't want no one to think that I'm not speaking from a place where it's just all around, because I am. And I'm only speaking specifically where it's rap with Kim, because again, there was a lot that was traumatizing going on with the death of Biggie a year after, and within months of this, and then in recent times there's allegations and all these other things that people are kind of dispersing and not trying to fool with certain people nowadays. So there's a different type of world that we're in right now when it comes to music. So I just want to make sure that we have those understandings here. But yeah, Hardcore received critical acclaim. The source claimed the album was a solid debut because the fat beats and rhymes are really all it takes, and those are both present, okay? While Rolling Stone magazine included Hardcore on its list as one of the essential recordings of the 90s. In 2003, Pop Matters wrote track for track Hardcore's Thug It, auctioneering flow melds the perfect hybrid of Yoni power. In other words, she was letting people know I'm that bitch. And I mean, why not? You have other people that was already coming out or emerging, and you want to make sure you have your stamp. LL Cool J's website, Rock the Bells, Vogue.com wrote that Kim's high glamour, sex appeal, and commercial success made her a new standard for female rappers. And it's very much true. I don't see where no one's perspective of Kim goes where she didn't do something that other people are not doing. Like she did pretty much everything. And I just, again, with her peaking with close to the top 10, and even with it being the top 3 in the R&B hip hop charts, like she was making her way. So let's look at the track list. So track 1 is Intro in A minor. That doesn't have writers or producers, and it's 2 minutes long. It's pretty much an interlude or intro, if you will. It's raunchy. It's pretty much someone that's really, let's just say they're pleasing themselves to something that Kim was able to give them personally. Okay? Photo, whatever. They was just, the intro was letting people know, like, men lust over me. Okay? And then track 2, Big Mama Thing featuring Jay-Z. Track 3, No Time featuring Puff Daddy. Track 4, Spend a Little Dough. Track 5, Take It. Track 6, Crush on You, performed by Lil C. So, Crush on You, when you hear that on the album, it's more or less Lil C's. More or less people garnered, or they gravitated, I should say, towards the remix because, she has different colors on. Aaliyah's popping up in the video. Everyone's jamming. True. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And then there's track 7, Drugs. No, that's an underrated song. Don't listen. She said, don't play. Okay? Track 8, Schemin'. Track 9, Queen Bitch. Now, Queen Bitch is underrated. She said back in the day, Queen Bitch, supreme bitch. Supreme bitch, okay? No one would, and until this day, people want to claim, oh, was she really writing all this stuff? Yes, the fuck she was. Do you see these credits? Every song says Jones right next to it. Don't play with her. She wrote this. Queen Bitch, supreme bitch. By any means, bitch. All right? Dreams, track 10. Mafia Land, track 11. Track 12, We Don't Need It, featuring Junior Mafia. Track 13, Not Tonight, featuring Jermaine Dupri. And then that was, of course, remixed. Track 14, Player Haters. And then track 15, Fuck You, F You, featuring Trife and Larceny. And of course, Biggie's writing credit in that too. And then reissue bonus track in 1997. So there was a reissue in 1997 where they did add the remix to Not Tonight with DeBrat, Left Eye, Missy Elliott, and Angie Martinez. So it did well. It did well. I will say, because I want to make sure it's very clear too, it did well in the sense of pushing the standard and making people understand, like, she is she's here to stay. Through interviews and appearances, of course, there were a lot of people that questioned her and felt like, is this, are you wanting to project music to let these young girls or even just people feel like, you don't have no type of conduct, or, you can't be tamed, if you will, because, everybody else can just, men alike can just run around and say, well, pussy, nah. But, with women, it wasn't like that. With women, you had to really have some decorum. You had to really just be like, all right, well, I sit well and I do well, but see, she said, no, fuck that, okay, and don't let me get into Notorious K.I.M. after all the trauma was happening, and she said, how many licks? We've yet to get to how many licks. So, she took whatever was going on at that time and continued and persevered on, and I commend her for that, because she paved a lane for females, whether anyone wants to admit or not. She paved a lane for females in a way where they really could just come out, be sexy, and everybody loves it. But back in '96, because yes, I will not talk about Foxy, because Foxy also, you know, released an album too in the midst of this time. But with Kim coming out first, technically, you know, you say to yourself, okay, well, no, she's the one. Kim's the one that really pushed it. You know what I'm saying? Someone else can come in the midst, but it's like if it's like what I said with Aaliyah, Brandy, and Monica. Aaliyah came out first, Brandy came out months after, and then Monica came out within months after that. And you say to yourself, okay, you know, these girls all go off. But when it came to, you know, who does what and what lane anyone's in, it also goes off to who's older too. Like Aaliyah was the oldest and stood 10 toes down, you know, and even despite working with Mr. Kelly, you know, she said, no, I'm gonna let my fans and everybody know I'm beyond this. I am more than a woman. Period. So, yes, I want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I truly appreciate it. And of course, I will be continuing to make more content as we go, and I will be back with more.